Hi, I'm Michaela Bunkley, a student who has taken the initiative to raise awareness about the issue of sexual assault through a report about my research and findings. It is imperative that I express that the remaining content of this video may have proceedings that prove uncomfortable for some, so viewer discretion is advised. With violence having the ability of metamorphosis and the variety to appear in several forms, people are affected by and battered by it in differing ways. Are you aware that every 98 seconds an American is sexually assaulted? By definition, sexual assault is any type of intimate contact or sexual behavior that occurs without the explicit consent of the recipient. The basic definition does not usually stress this point, but sexual assault has been committed if the recipient rejects initiation prior to the act or refuses continuation during the act. Examples include forced sexual intercourse, forcible sodomy, child molestation, incest, fondling, and does not exclude attempted rape. Research states that 321,500 Americans become victims of sexual assault or rape annually, which is nearly 1% of the total American population. One might pose the question, what would a close look at social interactions reveal about the ghost of sexual assault? Although sexual assault tends to be a tongue-in-cheek topic, thousands of people could attest to its prominence each year. Interestingly, perpetrators of sexual violence usually know the victim. The evidence of case studies provides that consistent and frequent interaction heightens the chance of familial sexual assault to occur. I saw my cousin bi-weekly at my grandmother's, one victim said. He seemed nice at first until my experience proved otherwise. The manifestation of such crimes especially targets those aged at or between 12 and 34. The previous information has significance in that 93% of juvenile victims know their perpetrator personally. Of those high risk years in a person's lifetime, people of the ages 18 through 34 have a higher likeliness of attack, hovering at 54% according to data collected in 2015. Although certain age groups are more likely to be victimized, it is important to realize that no one is exempt. To specifically highlight the lack of discrimination with acts of sexual violence, even the elderly aged at 65 and over are vulnerable to such violence by a margin of 3%. Such occurrences usually happen at the hands of employees within care facilities or in one-on-one settings with family members. Seeing as though sexual abuse is commonly initiated against people in solitary circumstances, an elder within the privacy of a loved one's home or nursing home is indeed susceptible to sexual battery. People with certain physical or cognitive disadvantages are also at risk. Unfortunately, sexual abuse has an attached inspiration by direct exposure nature. In essence, if one has been sexually assaulted at some point in their lifetime, especially in the individual's early childhood, the said pupil is likely to attack someone else in the same manner. Contingently, experiencing any violence as a witness or a target as a child can eventually surface in a way that renders perpetrating adults. Other factors include, but are not limited to, alcoholism, non emotive youth based sexual encounters, or having a surplus of sexual partners, as well as irrational impulsive decision making, hostile inconsiderate mannerisms, and the conviction that sexual violence is acceptable. In closure, I would like to express that women or people of the female gender tend to be targeted by sexually violent culprits. Approximately one-fourth of college women have professed to be victims of rape during their college experience, and those ladies are included in the 1 in 6 American women that are victims of attempted or completed rape during their lifespans. Accordingly, 90% of all rape victims are female. With a correlation between the violence itself, the violent, and the victim, it could benefit one to know the signs of the violence. and their category within its happenings. For more information, visit www.cdc.gov and observe its sexual violence category. Thank you for your time. Bye.